With that being said, our first segment of the day comes from CBS News White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe questioning John Kirby on the Chinese conducting these unsafe maneuvers both in sea and air. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks. If you haven't already, let's go ahead and roll it.
John, good to see you. In the span of a week, we've now had 2 close encounters, one at sea, one in the air with the Chinese military. Are these isolated incidents, or is China becoming more aggressive?
Sadly, Ed, these are part and parcel of an increasing level of aggressiveness by the PLA, the PRC's military, particularly in the area of the Taiwan Straits and in the South China Sea. The air intercept was over the South China Sea, and the maritime intercept that you talk about was in the Straits. And sadly, this is just part, again, of a growing aggressiveness by the PRC that we're dealing with, and we're prepared to address it. You heard Secretary Austin speak to that out at the Shangri-La Dialogue just this past weekend, and we're going to continue to keep the lines open with the Chinese to make it clear how unacceptable those particular intercepts are.
There was that handshake at the Shangri-La conference. Has there been any other conversation between U.S. and Chinese officials about
Well, I think you know that we have 2 officials in Beijing right now. The Senior Director for China, Sarah Barron here, and Dan Crittenbrink from the State Department are in Beijing as we speak.
I know you have to be very careful about the words you choose, but what is, in describing this, but what is the best way to describe what China is doing in the air and on the seas?
I'll try to give you an answer, but I sure would like to hear Beijing justify what they're doing. That said, these are intercepts. Now look, air and maritime intercepts happen all the time. Heck, we do it. The difference is when we do it, when we feel like we need to do it, it's done professionally, and it's done inside the international law, and it's done in accordance with the rules of the road. These 2 that you saw recently, and they have happened with more frequency than we'd like. Not all of them are unsafe and unprofessional, but these 2 were. You saw in the air intercept that they forced our aircraft, an RC-135, to basically go through the jet wash. That you saw the bump in the cockpit. That shows you how close that Chinese fighter was to our jet. And in the maritime intercept in the Taiwan Straits, 150, 140, 150 yards. Speaking as an old sailor myself, I'll tell you that's pretty close when you're in open waters like that. And you could see the head of steam that Chinese vessel had on it as it crossed the bow of one of our destroyers. No call for that. It's unsafe. It's unprofessional. And as to why they're doing it, I think, again, I think that's a great question to ask them. What I would tell you from our perspective is we're flying, we're sailing, we're operating in international airspace and international waters. And both of those incidents were in complete compliance with international law. There was absolutely no need for the PLA to act as aggressively as they did. It won't be long before somebody gets hurt. That's the concern with these unsafe and unprofessional intercepts. They can lead to misunderstandings. They can lead to miscalculations. When you have pieces of metal that size, whether it's in the air or on the sea, and they're operating that close together, it wouldn't take much for an error in judgment or a mistake to get made, and somebody could get hurt. And that's just got to be unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to them as well.
Actually, really great answer coming from John Kirby. I think on a public stage like that, you have to be careful with your words because you never know what China's going to do. But I think there's also the other side of it where Joe Biden is just a weak president. Everybody knows this. And look, the Chinese did this stuff under the Trump administration. They've always done it. And John Kirby even mentioned we do it too. But when we kind of conduct it and other countries conduct it, most of the time it's safe. We're kind of poking the bear on each side. And so I get that idea of it. But what the Chinese are doing is, look, they can get away with it. Joe Biden is weak. I'm surprised China hasn't invaded Taiwan already. You got Russia invading Ukraine because they know they can get away with it. The allies are letting them get away with it. Yeah, we're supplementing the war in some way, shape, or form with military aid and other mechanisms such as strategies and giving them just property. I mean, aircraft, military grade equipment, personnel. We've heard there's actually boots on the ground too. I don't know how true those rumors are. But John Kirby does a phenomenal job here in answering the question. And look, the Chinese are messing around. We saw this with the Iranians before. I can't believe these people have the cojones to sit there and poke the bear a little bit. I mean, shoot a couple rounds off the bow of the ship a little bit here. You never know what kind of stuff that can engage in, though, so you got to be careful with it. But I want to know what you guys think about in the comment section below. If this does happen again, do you think, for example, in the sea, do you think we should shoot a few rounds off the bow? Just kind of, hey, you know what are you doing? We're not going to allow this to happen. Or, I mean, the ship was a little bit, or in other words, the aircraft one was a little bit different, because I'm not sure what type of defense systems were on our aircraft compared to their jet. But let me know what you think we should do. Should we just kind of let it go? Because everybody does this. Both sides have done it back and forth before. Let us know in the comment section below. Moving into our last segment of the day, we got Ed O'Keefe back again, basically following up here regarding Joe Biden surviving a 2024 run and people saying, look, you're not really voting for Joe Biden. In other words, you're really voting for Kamala Harris, because once Joe Biden kind of cracks the barrel and goes 6 feet deep into the ground, Kamala Harris is going to be the one to kind of take his place. So really you're voting for her. And he kind of asks a weird question that's predicated on race. And maybe I'm missing it. And maybe some of you can help me in the comment section or the live chat regarding kind of what's he talking about here, because he talks about race and sexist stuff. I don't know. Let him question.
Okay. But to follow up on this, because the other argument that was being made in that comment by that candidate is that a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for Vice President Harris to possibly become president. Does the White House see those continued attacks from Republicans and, frankly, comments from Democrats concerned about that as sexist, racist, politically convenient?
So, like,
help me. And I really do mean this, because I don't understand why that's being interjected here from Ed. And maybe I'm missing something from the conversation or Nikki Haley's speech or what Democrats are saying, Republicans saying. I don't understand how that's anywhere sexist or racist, her basically being voted for by voting for Joe Biden. I don't know. Let me know. Help me, please.
going to be really careful. 2024,
Jack.
I'm not going to speak to 2024 from here. What I can speak to, what I'll say more broadly, is that the vice president has been a partner. It has been a partner to this president.
Hasn't done
You've heard
anything.
him say that multiple times. When it comes to difficult decision, when it comes to important decisions that matter to the American people, this is something that those are issues that the president has talked to with the vice president. And so you've heard him say that. You've seen her do that out there on the road, or whether it's even here.
You guys want a sample of what the conversation was between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Hey, Kamala, guess what? We're going to spend trillions of taxpayer dollars on COVID-19 stimulus checks. Yo, you got that? Perfect. That's the conversations that they have. It's just announced to her. She has no involvement whatsoever. She was the border czar. She actually flew over the border and went to El Salvador and Honduras and handed out literally cookies to people. I'm not exaggerating. We covered that here in the Ball Brad Show. That's what she did. She handed them cookies. And she said it was, oh, it's climate and all these other things as to why they're fleeing their country, even though there's a ton of other broad countries that you can go to around there. Or you could just come here legally. I mean, how about you just follow the rule of law? But we all know with the Biden administration here, the rule of law kind of goes out the window real quick. Again, for another video, let her continue.
Here speaking to different issues that are incredibly important to the American people. So I will leave it there, but not going to go into a tit for tat. What does this mean? What is this outcome going to be? What I'll speak to is what I know here in this White House.
What's
and how
that?
they have worked very closely to get all of the things that I just laid out get done on behalf of the American people.
I had one other.
Oh, on behalf of all of you guys, do you feel like you're being taken care of, huh? Getting reamed at the grocery store, at the gas pump, having illegal immigrants pour across our country. There was reports out there that there's localities, there's states that are now going to pay illegal immigrants. California is one of them. California wants to pay every illegal immigrant $300 a month. I'm not kidding. That's a real thing. Hey, they're out there taking care of you folks. All the while, our veterans are being kicked out of hotel rooms and being replaced by illegal immigrants. So who are they taking care of here? Sure in hell doesn't seem like they're taking care of American citizens, as we're getting screwed with inflation. Our economy's not doing as hot as it was before, where Joe Biden just had to ride on Trump's coattails, open everything back up, and be freaking sleeping as he already is. Again, we can go on and on and on about this guy and this administration. I want to know what you think about all this in the comment section below. If I am worthy of your subscription, folks, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you really want to support the channel, go above and beyond, leave us a comment down below. Check out baldbrad.com. We got merchandise. We got mugs. You can get a signed copy of Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. We got a copy right here for you, folks. Great book. You're seeing it in real time from the Biden administration. Hell, you saw it with Hillary Clinton under the Obama administration. You saw the Obama administration. You see it with the Biden administration here. Heck, any Democrat ran administration, both city and federally, is destroying this country from the inside out. Grab your copy of Trojan Horse. You're going to love it for a friend or family member, folks. And with that being said, I'll see you tomorrow here on the Bald Brad Show. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.